that's the way of working that moving forward. I'm in favor of eliminating it, but phasing it out over time. Come up with a small plan to do this. When Susan Stimson was running for lieutenant governor a couple years ago, she was in Stafford County. They did not put in the beef poll tax. Because they didn't put in the beef poll tax up in Northern Virginia, they attracted so many more businesses from the other counties in Northern Virginia that had the beef poll tax. If Virginia Beach was to invest and start lowering our beef poll tax, we would attract businesses either from the local area or when a company is looking to come to Hampton Roads, we would have the advantage on everybody else.
And I'm sure that they did eliminate the beef poll tax to attract those businesses in that particular area. However, I'm sure other taxes were higher in that regards to make up that revenue. As others have said that we need to have that revenue coming in. I'm not a proponent right now of eliminating the beef poll tax. However, it would be interesting to do in the future, but we have to figure out where that extra income is going to come in to make up for that lost income.
I am not in favor of eliminating the beef poll tax.
Eliminating the beef poll tax would mean blowing a $40 or $45 million hole in the budget. That is a tough thing. As a small business owner, I think it's an insidious way to, insidious is the wrong word, but it's a difficult way to calculate the tax because if I do $500,000 worth of business, but I only make $10,000 in my business, the beef poll tax is calculated on my revenue, not on my profit. I'd like to see some change to the calculation. There's a lot of logistical difficulties with that.
I do favor phasing it out. It is $44 million a year, but it is a penalty on business creation. So rather than when the revenues of the city go up, let's lower the expenditure rate and take some of that rising revenue to then over time, maybe 10, 15 years, to commit to lowering the rate to zero. It can be done. It just takes a commitment of 6 more people to give direction to do it.
Got a question here about sea level rise. And what are your thoughts about mitigating its effects? And if there's any specific recommendations that you have, I'd be glad to hear them, but how high a priority do you think this should be? Here, we'll start with you.
Sea level rise is important. It's something that with global warming and what the scientists are saying is actually becoming real. It's evident when it rains and it floods around the Hampton Roads area that we are experiencing more water on our streets. So it's very important for us to actually fix our drainage and our sewer systems actually around our city, which is actually the aspect of what City Council is supposed to do. Is supposed to be an aspect of service. One that the aspects that I would look at is to reduce our carbon footprint that we actually have here currently in Hampton Roads and in the Virginia Beach area. I believe we should just try to reduce our carbon footprint and actually pay more attention to our infrastructure as far as our sewers and our rivers. I think that'll help us to eliminate some of the water that we're having.
I guess I took out of my bag the graph that shows the projected and real rates of sea level rise. We know that it's occurring. We know that this particular area is #2 in the nation for the susceptibility to this, and we have to start with our planning to try to ameliorate it in the future. We certainly can't prevent it. We have to live with it. We have to plan where we're going to allow development and what development standards need to be in place to try to address the situation. Virginia Beach City Council did with our budget this year move $3 million from the Eastern Shore Drainage Project to a new project called Citywide Sea Level Rise Recurrent Flooding Analysis to help us begin to address this concern.
I wholeheartedly agree with Barbara. I mean, at the end of the day, our public works department is taking the lead on this issue. As mentioned, we one of the top 2 areas in regards to the sea level particular issue. Public Works is doing a great job. They're taking the lead on it. They're going out, discussing, figuring out possible solutions, things that we can do in our area to be able to combat this problem. I believe in our Public Works department. I believe in the way we look at it. Sea level rise. A lot of people are confusing localized flooding and a poor sewage, poor stormwater management system with the fact that the oceans are rising. Tell you the truth, the oceans are rising. There's nothing we're going to be able to do to stop it. We can try and build dams and dikes like they did in New Orleans, and when a storm comes through, they go out. There's nothing you can do to stop the sea level from rising. If it rises, it rises. Our planet is evolving and changing. At one point we were underwater, now we're not. Look at Willoughby Spit. It came in with a storm. Sooner or later, it's going to leave with a storm.
We've got many issues when it comes to that, and they're all very, very expensive, and it's a big problem, and if we had the answer, we wouldn't have any problems for budgets or anything. Everyone would come to us for their solutions, but it's a concern, and one that we're facing, and it's very serious.
Ben?
Sea level rise is a very serious issue that we're facing. We are going to need the help of the state. We're going to need the help of the federal government to figure out a plan to mitigate the damage that this may cause to our city. As Ms. Henley mentioned, we are the #2 region in the United